The night was quiet, too quiet for a place that once held hundreds of researchers. Wind moved across the metal walls of the abandoned human outpost, making long echoes that crawled through the empty halls. Only one man walked inside the silent building, Ethan Ward, a calm but mysterious technician who liked working alone. He was checking old systems, repairing broken wires, and updating scanners that no one used anymore. Ethan always looked calm, but there was something strange about him. People said he never panicked, never showed fear, and almost never smiled. Yet tonight, something felt different in the air. Even Ethan could sense it. As he reached the main control room, an alarm suddenly blared on its own. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. Ethan stopped walking. His eyes narrowed and he stared at the screen. The alarm was not human-made. It came from another dimension. Before he could touch the panel, the ground shook. A bright blue circle appeared in the middle of the room, floating, spinning, glowing like a star. A portal. Ethan stepped back slightly, but he didn't run. Instead, he whispered to himself, "Finally, it opens." The portal expanded, and out of the light stumbled a woman, an alien woman with silver eyes and glowing blue marks across her skin. She was breathing hard, shaking, clearly injured. Her clothes were torn, her hair messy as if she had been running for her life through many worlds. She lifted her head and looked at Ethan. Their eyes met. Something ancient, something silent passed between them. And then the moment that started everything happened. The alien woman raised her trembling hand and pointed directly at Ethan. Her voice cracked, almost breaking. "My husband." Ethan stood still. No shock, no confusion. Just a tiny, strange smile touched his lips. A smile he almost never used. A smile that looked like he already knew this would happen. But before the woman could take another step toward him, another shape appeared inside the glowing portal, then another, and another. Heavy boots slammed onto the metal floor as three tall alien hunters stepped out. Their armor looked like dark stone, their helmets shaped like beasts. Each of their weapons hummed with dangerous blue light. The leader pointed at Ethan and barked, "Seize him! The bond must not return." The alien woman pushed herself between them and Ethan, holding out her hand. A weak pulse of energy flashed from her palm, but she was too injured to stop them. The hunters moved forward, surrounding Ethan as if he was some dangerous creature. But Ethan did not move. His smile faded, replaced by a calm, unreadable expression. "You're late," he said softly. The hunters froze for a second. They had not expected him to speak like that. One looked at the leader. He remembers? The alien woman shook her head desperately. "No, not yet. Do not hurt him." "He's not awakened," Ethan frowned. "Awakened? What are you talking about?" The room began to tremble again. The portal behind the hunters grew brighter, like something huge was preparing to cross. The alien woman staggered closer to Ethan. "You must listen," she whispered. "They came for you because you lived before. You lived a life you forgot." Ethan gave a half laugh, half sigh. "I'm human. I didn't live anywhere except Earth." She touched his wrist gently. Suddenly, a shock of blue energy burst from the contact, rushing through Ethan's arm and exploding across the room. Machines turned on by themselves. Screens glowed. Metal panels shook. The hunters stepped back immediately. The core bond. The leader shouted, "It has awakened." Ethan pulled his hand away, staring at the glowing pattern now forming on his skin. His heart beat faster. He didn't understand what was happening, but something deep inside him felt familiar, as if a long-locked door had just opened in his mind. The alien woman looked at him with desperate hope. "You know me," she whispered, "even if you don't remember. You promised to return. I crossed galaxies because of that promise." Ethan's breath slowed. He felt a memory he couldn't explain, of standing on a burning bridge of light, holding someone's hand. Someone who cried his name. Before he could speak, a thunderous roar came from the portal. A massive alien commander stepped through, armor glowing like magma. He pointed at Ethan. "If he awakens completely, the war begins anew. Capture him alive." Ethan took one step back. His eyes sharpened. His pulse changed. Something inside him responded to the danger with unnatural calm. He whispered only one line, a line that confused everyone, even himself. "It begins again." And in that moment, the war truly began. The room still shook from the commander's arrival, and the blue portal behind him kept spinning like a hungry vortex. Ethan stepped back slowly, but the alien woman Lyra grabbed his arm with trembling fingers. Her silver eyes were begging him not to run. The commander raised his spear-like weapon and growled, "Do not let him escape. If the human remembers, we lose everything." Ethan didn't understand those words, but he felt a strange pulse in his chest, like something inside him was waking up one breath at a time. Lyra pulled him behind a broken console and whispered, "Listen to me. I know you don't remember, but you must trust me for now." Ethan stared at her glowing face. "I don't trust anyone who calls me their husband out of nowhere." Her eyes softened with pain, not anger. "I did not call you that to frighten you. I said it because it was true once. Because you chose me, long before you were reborn on Earth." Ethan swallowed hard. "Reborn? I'm a normal man. I fix machines. I drink cheap coffee. I don't get reborn." Lyra shook her head slowly. "You're not normal. You never were." Before Ethan could argue, two hunters leaped over the console. Lyra raised her hand, releasing a weak blue wave that pushed them back, but it was obvious she was too injured to keep fighting. Ethan grabbed her wrist. "Stop, you'll get yourself killed." She looked at him with small hope. "That is why I came. I crossed galaxies through collapsing stars. I ran from armies, from worlds falling into darkness. I searched for you because you once saved my people. You once saved me." Ethan's mind raced. Why did her words feel familiar? Why did he feel a hidden guilt? As if he had broken a promise he never knew he made. Another hunter charged. Ethan pulled Lyra aside and ducked behind a steel beam. "Start explaining. Why do they want me? What bond are they talking about?" Lyra's voice shook. "The core bond is an ancient link. Only two souls in the universe can share it. Once formed, it chooses their destiny." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "So you're saying destiny picked us?" "No," she whispered. "You picked me, then you died, and the bond faded. Until now." Ethan's blood ran cold. He didn't believe any of this. But deep inside, a memory flickered fire, screams, a collapsing bridge of light, and a woman shouting his name as he fell. The memory vanished before he could hold on to it. The commander stepped forward, heavy boots smashing the metal floor. "Princess Lyra," he shouted, his voice echoing like thunder. "You cannot hide him. The prophecy ends tonight." Lyra flinched at his tone. Ethan noticed it. She wasn't just any alien woman. She was royalty and hunted. The commander pointed his weapon again. "If he awakens, he becomes the guardian who destroyed our empire ages ago. We will not allow that again." Ethan blinked. "Guardian? I can barely fix a broken radio." The commander laughed coldly. "You are a human now. But your power sleeps inside you. Once those memories return, no force in the galaxy can stop you." Ethan stared at Lyra. "Is that true?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, you were once the strongest guardian of my world. You were our hope. You were my—" She stopped, voice shaking too much to continue. Another explosion rocked the outpost. The portal flickered, unstable as more hunters tried to cross. Lyra grabbed Ethan's hand. "I came to warn you, my world fell. Our sun cracked like glass. Darkness spreads through every star system, and the only person who can stop it is the one I lost." She looked at him with a mix of love, fear, and desperation. "You," Ethan's breath caught. He wanted to deny everything. He wanted to run, pretend this wasn't happening. But something inside him whispered, "You promised to return." The commander slammed his spear into the ground. "Enough! Bring him to me!" The hunters charged. Ethan didn't have a weapon. He didn't have armor. He didn't even understand what was happening to him, but as a hunter swung his blade, Ethan raised his hand instinctively, and the blade stopped in midair, frozen by an invisible force. The room fell silent. The hunters stared. Lyra stared. Even Ethan stared at his own hand, shocked by what he had done. The commander growled, anger mixing with fear. "It has begun. He's awakening." Ethan's heartbeat echoed like thunder in his own ears. Lyra whispered, almost crying, "You see, you're not normal." "And you never were." Ethan backed away, breathing fast. "What am I?" Lyra touched his arm gently. "You're the man who saved my world once. The man I crossed galaxies to find. The man they fear." Before Ethan could respond, the lights went out and a huge metallic roar shook the building. Something even bigger than the hunters was coming through the portal. And Ethan realized his old life ended the moment he smiled. The metallic roar grew louder, echoing through every corner of the abandoned outpost. Dust fell from the ceiling. Panels shook. The blue portal behind the hunters twisted, stretching wider, as if something enormous was trying to force its way through. Ethan stepped back, his heart pounding. But his expression stayed strangely calm, as if a part of him already knew danger like this. Lyra grabbed his arm, her voice shaking. "It's the High Commander. He has come himself. They never send him unless the threat is beyond control." Ethan blinked. "Threat? I'm the threat now?" Lyra looked at him with sad honesty. "You always were. Even before you remembered your past life." The portal exploded with a burst of white-blue energy. A massive armored figure stepped out, almost twice the size of the others. His armor looked like living stone, glowing with cracks of molten light. His helmet had 5 burning lines. Where eyes should be, he carried a massive spear, made of pure energy. Every hunter dropped to one knee. "High Commander Vorsk," they whispered. Vorsk scanned the room. Once in his helmet, eyes locked on Ethan. "He is not fully awakened," Vorsk growled. "But even half of his power is dangerous. Capture him alive. Kill the princess if she interferes." Lyra stiffened at the command. Ethan stepped in front of her without thinking. "I'm done running," he said quietly. "But I'm not letting you hurt her." One of the hunters hissed, "You dare defy the High Commander?" Ethan didn't answer. But something old, something hidden rose inside him like a rising tide. Lyra whispered, "Careful. Your power reacts to emotions. If it bursts out uncontrolled." Before she could finish, 2 hunters rushed at Ethan with plasma blades. Ethan raised his hands out of instinct again, and boom! A shockwave blasted from his palms, throwing both hunters across the room. Their armor sparked as they hit the wall. Ethan staggered back, staring at his own hands in disbelief. "What did I just do?" Lyra looked pale, but amazed. "This is what they fear. Humans adapt faster than any species. And when your old power mixes with human instinct, your strength becomes unpredictable." Vorsk stepped forward, unfazed by the shockwave. "You were once our greatest enemy," he said in a deep, harsh voice. "The guardian of Siluran. The one who destroyed 3 of our fleets. The one who refused to bow." He raised his spear, pointing it at Ethan. "And now you are reborn as a human, a species that grows stronger under pressure. A dangerous mix." Ethan shook his head. "I'm not that person. I don't want your war." Vorsk laughed darkly. "You don't need to want it. Fate already chose you." Ethan clenched his fists. "If fate wants a fight, it can wait. I'm trying to survive first." The High Commander signaled his troops. 6 hunters spread out. forming a circle around Ethan and Lyra. Slowly, they tightened the formation. Blades pointed inward. Lyra whispered, "If they capture you, they will drain your memories before the bond fully awakens. You'll lose everything, your past and your future." Ethan looked at her. "So what do you want me to do?" "Fight," she whispered. "Not for me. Not for your old life. Fight because they will not stop. Fight because you deserve to know who you really are." Ethan took a deep breath. For the first time, he wasn't running. He wasn't confused. He wasn't scared. He was angry. A hunter leaped at him. Ethan dodged with a speed he had never possessed as a human. Another attacked from behind, but Ethan's reflexes reacted before his mind could even think. He kicked the hunter away with surprising force. One by one, they attacked. One by one, Ethan adapted. He grew faster, stronger, more precise. Every second, Lyra watched with wide eyes. He's learning during the fight, just like before. But even with Ethan's growing strength, the hunters were trained warriors from a war-torn empire. They surrounded him, pushing him closer to Vorsk. The High Commander raised his spear. "It ends now." He thrust the spear toward Ethan's chest, but Ethan caught it with his bare hands. The energy rippled around his fingers, burning the ground beneath his feet. Ethan gritted his teeth, holding the glowing weapon back. Vorsk snarled, "Impossible. No human can resist this." Ethan met his burning eyes with new confidence. "I'm not just human." "Am I?" The spear hummed louder as Ethan pushed it away. A memory flashed him in shining armor, standing on a star bridge, facing Vorsk long ago. Vorsk stepped back, shaken for the first time. He remembers. Fragments. Lyra pulled Ethan toward the maintenance tunnel behind them. "We must retreat now." "You aren't ready for him, not yet." Ethan hesitated. He didn't want to run, but the portal behind Vorsk shook violently. Something even darker was preparing to cross. Lyra shouted, "Ethan, move!" He grabbed her hand and ran into the shadows. Behind them, Vorsk slammed his spear into the ground and roared, "Find them before the Guardian awakens completely." And for the first time, Ethan wondered if he truly was the monster they feared. Ethan and Lyra ran through the dark hallway of the outpost, their footsteps echoing in the silent metal tunnels. Behind them, the hunters' roars cut through the air, getting louder each second. Sparks fell from broken lights, creating small flashes of white-blue that lit their path. Lyra guided him quickly. "There is a bunker under the east wing. Humans sealed it years ago. They never knew what was buried beneath." Ethan frowned, breath fast. "And you know what's inside?" She hesitated. "Something meant for you. Something you left for yourself." The hallway suddenly opened into a large storage chamber, filled with crates and broken machines. Lyra pressed a hand on a rusted control panel. Her blue markings glowed brighter, and the floor mechanical locks clicked. A square section of the ground slid open, revealing a staircase leading deep underground. "Go," she urged. Ethan climbed down first, and Lyra followed. The metal hatch closed above them just seconds before hunters stormed into the chamber. Ethan heard their angry shouts, their weapons scanning the room. But down here, everything was quiet. The bunker air felt colder. The lights flickered to life automatically, revealing a stone chamber mixed with human tech, something built long before Earth had ever met alien life. Ethan looked around in confusion. "This place doesn't feel human." "It isn't," Lyra replied softly. "You built it in your past life. Before the fall of Siluran. Before you." She swallowed, unable to finish. Before he died, Ethan approached a strange device in the center of the room, a tall, crystal-like structure inside a metal frame. It pulsed faintly like a sleeping heart. "What is this?" he asked. Lyra stepped closer. "Your memory anchor. A part of your old consciousness was sealed here before your death." You prepared it in case fate brought you back. Ethan touched the surface. Warm light spread under his fingertips. Inside his mind, a faint voice whispered his own voice, yet not his own. If you return, do not trust your memories. Trust the bond. Ethan jerked his hand away, breathing hard. This is insane. How could I build this? Humans didn't even leave our solar system back then. Lyra looked at him with deep sadness. You were not human then. You were a guardian born from the core light. You traveled across galaxies before Earth even learned to walk. Ethan shook his head. You expect me to believe I lived an entire life in another world, died, and somehow got reborn here on Earth? Yes, she whispered. Because I watched you die. And I felt the bond fade. And for years, I believed I lost you forever. Her voice cracked. Ethan looked at her closely, really looked. For the first time, he saw not just an alien princess, but someone who had carried grief for a lifetime. Someone who had held on to hope long after hope died. He opened his mouth to speak. But the bunker shook suddenly. Boom. Dust rained from above. Boom. The hunters had found the hidden entrance. Lyra's eyes widened. They are breaking through. The High Commander will be here soon. Ethan stepped in front of her. If this anchor has my memories, can it help me fight? Lyra hesitated. Yes and no. It can unlock fragments, but full awakening is dangerous. If too many memories return at once, your human mind may collapse. Ethan gave a dry laugh. So either I get crushed by aliens, or crushed by my own memories. Great. The bunker shook again, louder, closer. Lyra grabbed both his hands. Ethan, listen. You once promised you would return to me, no matter how many lifetimes passed. I believed you, even when the universe laughed at me. Please, don't break that promise again. For the first time, Ethan felt something shift in his chest, not a memory, but an emotion too strong to ignore. Something between recognition and guilt. He touched the anchor crystal again. Light exploded outward. Images flashed him in shining armor, protecting a burning city. Lyra crying over him as he fell. The High Commander's spear piercing his chest. Then darkness. Ethan gasped, stepping back. The memory vanished, leaving only pain and a cold sweat. Lyra steadied him. You saw the end, but not the beginning. Ethan clenched his jaw. I saw enough. The bunker entrance cracked. A glowing blade cut through the metal like butter. Hunters roared from the other side. Lyra looked distressed. We cannot face them here. Not without your power fully awakened. Ethan shook his head. No, we can't face them running forever. He stepped forward, fists clenched, eyes fierce. I don't know who I was. I don't know why I died. But if they want me dead again, they're going to have to work for it. Lyra stared at him, shocked, impressed, and hopeful. Another boom. The door burst open, and Ethan whispered, time to find out why I shouldn't exist. The bunker door blasted inward with a roar that shook the entire underground chamber. Pieces of metal flew across the floor as the hunters stormed inside, their glowing blades slicing through the dust-filled air. High Commander Vorsk stepped in behind them, his massive frame blocking the tunnel like a living wall. Ethan moved in front of Lyra, hands clenched, jaw tight. He didn't have armor or training or even a weapon. But something old, something fierce, burned inside him, rising with every breath. Vorsk pointed his spear at Ethan. Human or guardian, whatever you have become, your awakening ends here. Ethan didn't respond. His eyes shifted slightly, narrowing with calm determination. That same strange calmness, the same instinct, he had shown when the alien woman first pointed at him and called him her husband, now filled his entire body. Lyra whispered behind him, voice trembling, be careful. Your power awakens when your emotions rise. If you lose control, I won't. Ethan said quietly. But the truth was, he had no idea what he would do. He had no idea what he even was. Two hunters rushed forward. Ethan stepped aside with inhuman speed, grabbing one by the arm and spinning him into the other. Their armored bodies crashed to the ground, sparks lighting up the bunker walls. Vorsk's voice boomed, just like before. Adapting faster than any soldier. This is why your kind should never have existed. Ethan snapped. I don't even know what kind you're talking about. Vorsk slammed his spear into the ground. You were created from core light pure energy shaped into a living warrior. A guardian who could learn, evolve, and overpower anything. A weapon. And froze. A weapon? Lyra stepped close, eyes full of guilt. You weren't meant to be one. You chose your own path. You chose me. You chose peace. Vorsk growled. And we destroyed you for it. The memory flash hit Ethan again, burning light. A collapsing star bridge. Vorsk's spear through his chest. Lyra screaming his name. Ethan's hands trembled. Light crackled at his fingertips. The energy responded to his emotions. Vorsk saw it and raised his spear. If he awakens fully, we cannot stop him. The hunters attacked all at once. Blades slashed. Energy bursts shook the walls. Ethan dodged one strike, blocked another, then struck back with raw instinct. His movements were too fast for a normal human, too precise for an untrained fighter. Every second he fought, he grew stronger, faster, sharper, and he felt it. His power was awakening, not like a weapon, but like a storm. A hunter managed to cut Ethan's shoulder. He staggered back, blood dripping. But instead of weakening him, the pain triggered something deeper. A surge of blue light burst from his chest, throwing every hunter backward like they were hit by an invisible wave. Lyra shielded her eyes. The core light. Ethan, stop, your human body can't handle too much. But Ethan couldn't stop. The power was climbing like fire up his veins. Vorsk stepped forward, defiant. You think this makes you strong? You died once. You can die again. He thrust his glowing spear at Ethan. Ethan raised his hand and caught it. Again. But this time, he didn't struggle. The spear's powerful energy hummed against Ethan's palm, melting the ground beneath him. Yet Ethan held it steady, eyes glowing with rising power. Vorsk's voice shook. No, impossible. A half-awakened guardian should not overpower me. Ethan pushed the spear away effortlessly. Vorsk stumbled backward. Lyra gasped softly. He's not half-awakened. He's merging with his human side. The core light is mixing with human survival instinct. Ethan didn't fully understand the words, but he felt the truth inside himself. His old life's power and his new life's instincts were combining into something new of form. Neither side had ever seen something dangerous, something unstoppable. Ethan, Lyra whispered, placing a hand on his arm. You don't have to be what they fear. You can choose who you want to be now. But Vorsk had heard enough. That I choose destruction. He roared. He activated the device on his armor. A deep alarm filled the bunker. Lyra's eyes widened in terror. No, he activated the solar collapse protocol. Ethan stepped forward. What is that? A weapon that collapses the nearest star into itself, Lyra whispered. It will destroy this entire sector, including Earth. Ethan's heart sank. You'd destroy a planet just to stop me? Vorsk raised his spear. I would destroy 1,000 planets. Ethan felt something inside him snap, not from fear, but fury. His eyes glowed bright blue. The ground cracked beneath his feet. Energy circled his fists like spiraling light. He wasn't a weapon. He wasn't a guardian. He wasn't only human. He was something more, something born from two worlds. Ethan stepped toward Vorsk with a calm, deadly voice. If you want to end everything, you'll have to go through me. And for the first time, Vorsk stepped back, afraid. The bunker filled with a deep rumbling sound. like a dying star crying in pain. Red warning symbols flickered on every wall. The solar collapse protocol had begun. Lyra's breath caught as she stared at the countdown flashing on Vorsk's armor. Once it reaches 0, she whispered, voice trembling, Earth's sun will start collapsing. Your world, everything, will vanish. Ethan's fists glowed brighter. Energy swirled around him like living wind. Yet inside, he felt something else awakening, an ache, a pull, a memory trying to break free. Vorsk lifted his spear. You died once on Siluran. You will die again here. Ethan stepped forward slowly. Not this time. But the moment he said it, another vision exploded in his mind so sharp, so real it nearly dropped him to his knees. He saw himself not as a human, not in earth clothes, but in shining armor of white gold. He stood on a burning bridge made of starlight. Around him, thousands of alien soldiers charged. And beside him stood a woman with silver eyes, Lyra, younger, unbroken, standing with courage as worlds fell. Ethan, his past self, held her hand tightly and whispered, If I die, I will find you again. Across stars, across time. The memory disappeared like smoke. Ethan gasped, gripping the wall. Lyra rushed to him. Are you hurt? He shook his head slowly. No, I remembered something. Her eyes widened with hope. What did you see? Ethan looked at her with a heaviness he could not explain. I saw you. I saw a war. And I saw me, promising I'd return. Something broke inside Lyra, pain mixed with relief, hope mixed with fear. You did return, she whispered. But you don't remember what happened after. Ethan swallowed. What happened? Her voice trembled. You died saving our world. You pulled the core light inside yourself to stop our star from collapsing. It killed you. I held you when your last breath left. Her eyes shined like breaking glass. I watched you fade away. Ethan looked at her, stunned. And now I'm here again. You were reborn, she said. Your soul found another path. Another life. Ethan's voice was low. And you spent years searching for me. Across galaxies, she whispered, before he could respond. The countdown alarm blared louder, 0 hours 5 minutes and 0 seconds. 5 minutes left. Vorsk slammed his spear into the floor, cracking it. You cannot stop what has begun. The universe will finally be rid of you. Ethan turned toward him slowly. His eyes glowed, not with rage this time, but purpose. I died once to stop a star from collapsing. I can do it again. Lyra grabbed his arm, tears in her voice. No, that nearly destroyed you last time. Your human body is not strong enough. Ethan looked into her silver eyes. I'm not fully human anymore. She shook her head violently. Ethan, listen. If you take in that much energy again, your human form will break. You will fade. I will lose you again. He cupped her cheek gently. You never lost me. That one soft moment, one human gesture made Lyra freeze. For years she had lived with only grief and memory. Now the man she once loved was standing in front of her again. Different body, different life. Same soul. The hunters charged. Vorsk roared. End him before he awakens completely. Ethan stepped away from Lyra and raised both hands. His energy flared like a sunburst. A wave of blue-white force blasted outward, knocking every hunter off their feet. Vorsk alone remained standing. You think raw power will save your world? You don't even remember who you are. Ethan took another step forward, energy swirling around him. Tell me then, he said quietly. Tell me who I was. Vorsk's voice thundered. You were the Guardian Prime, the strongest being our empire ever faced. A legend, a nightmare, a force we could never defeat. Until the day you sacrificed yourself. Ethan felt the words sink deep into him. Guardian Prime. A warrior who saved worlds. A weapon who chose compassion. A soul who promised to return. He looked over his shoulder at Lyra. She nodded with trembling hope. "You were my husband," she whispered. "In every lifetime." The bunker lights dimmed. 0 hours 2 minutes and 0 seconds. Time was almost gone. Ethan turned back to Vorsk. "Then I guess it's time." I remembered what I'm capable of. Light exploded from Ethan's body, shaking the entire bunker. His old instincts merged with his new human will. Memories flooded him, not all, but enough. He wasn't just awakening. He was becoming something new. Vorsk stumbled back, fear breaking through his armor of arrogance. "No. This cannot be. You are only half awakened." Ethan stepped forward, glowing like a living star. Half is enough. And the war for Earth truly began. The bunker shook like an old beast taking its final breath. Lights flickered. Dust fell from the cracked ceiling. The countdown glowed brighter than ever. 1 minute and 20 seconds before Earth's sun began to collapse. Ethan stood in the middle of the bunker, glowing like a rising star. Blue-white light swirled around his arms and shoulders, lifting dust and broken metal into the air. His energy hummed deep and steady, no longer wild, no longer confused. He finally understood who he was. He finally felt the power that had once saved worlds. Lyra watched him with trembling hands pressed to her chest. Her eyes reflected both fear and awe. "Ethan, your body, it's changing." He didn't look back, but his voice was calm. "It's remembering." Vorsk roared, charging forward with his molten spear. "You are not the Guardian Prime, you are only his shadow." Ethan lifted one hand. The air rippled like water. Vorsk's charge slowed, then stopped completely frozen in mid-motion. His spear suspended inches from Ethan's chest. The hunters behind him gasped. Lyra covered her mouth. Ethan stepped forward. Time snapped back to normal. The spear hit the ground, useless, as Vorsk stumbled backward. "I'm not your weapon," Ethan said softly. "I'm not your enemy. Not anymore," Vorsk snarled. "You think you can stop a star from collapsing again? You barely survived last time." Ethan's eyes glowed brighter. "Last time, I was alone." He turned his head slightly, meeting Lyra's eyes with a gentle, familiar look. "This time, I'm not." Lyra's breath caught. For a second, she saw it, the man she lost long ago, standing in front of her again. Same courage, same warmth, same soul. The countdown blared. 0 hours 0 minutes and 40 seconds, Vorsk shouted. "You will destroy yourself and your world." Ethan looked up, feeling the collapsing star tug at his energy. He could sense the distant sun trembling, begging for stability. The connection awakened something deep inside him, something ancient. He floated a few inches off the ground. "I know what I'm doing." Lyra ran toward him in panic. "If you take in that much energy again, you'll fade. You'll disappear. From this world." Ethan landed softly and held her hands warm, glowing, steady. "I won't disappear," he said quietly. Her voice broke. "You don't know that." Ethan gave her a small, gentle smile. The same smile he gave her once on the burning star bridge long ago. "That's why you trusted me before," he whispered. "And why you found me again." Tears filled her silver eyes. Behind them, Vorsk roared and lunged again, but Ethan didn't move. A wave of pure energy burst outward, not from anger, but from purpose. The hunters were thrown against the walls like leaves in a storm. Even Vorsk skidded across the floor, armor cracking. For the first time, the High Commander looked afraid. Ethan raised both hands. The bunker ceiling shook. Light poured into the room. He was calling the core light, not from the anchor. Not from his memories. From the star itself, he was linking with the son of Earth. 00:00:15 Lyra grabbed his arm, desperate, trembling. "Please, don't leave me again." Ethan touched her forehead gently, a gesture only she knew. I came back once. I'll always come back. The bunker turned white with blinding light. Vorsk screamed, "Stop! If he links with the star, he becomes unstoppable." Ethan closed his eyes. The collapsing sun stabilized. The countdown froze on the armor. 0 hours 0 minutes and 3 seconds. Lyra watched as Ethan's body glowed brighter and brighter, too bright for a human, too bright for a guardian. She reached out, terrified he was fading like last time, but instead, the light folded back into his body, settling like a heart learning a new rhythm. Ethan opened his eyes again. They shimmered with a calm blue glow, not destruction, but balance. He had done it. He had merged human instinct with guardian power. Vorsk collapsed to his knees. "No, this cannot be. You were never meant to exist." Ethan walked forward slowly. "That's the thing about humans," he said softly. "We become what we need to be." Vorsk looked up, defeated. "What will you do now? Guardian Prime?" Ethan glanced at Lyra and gave another soft smile. "Finish what I started." He touched the portal device. It roared to life, showing Lyra's broken world waiting beyond fires, falling cities, darkness spreading like ink. Lyra stepped beside him, hope returning to her eyes. "Ethan, are you sure?" He took her hand. "I promised you once," he said. "And I don't break promises." Together, they stepped through the portal dot as the light closed behind them. Vorsk whispered in fear, "Humanity has changed the balance of the universe." And somewhere in the stars, a new legend began.